My friends, brothers and sisters, hear this now, not tomorrow, not next week, now. Something has happened, something ancient, something foretold. A sign has appeared, the final sign before the great catching away, the rapture of the saints. And it did not come with trumpets blaring or news headlines flashing in neon. No, it came as they always do, quietly, to the world, but thunderously to the Spirit. For those who have eyes to see and ears to hear, listen. This is not just another sign in the distance. This is not speculation. This is not theory. This is the culmination. The line has been crossed. The moment the prophets warned about, the early church yearned for, and the nations denied, has arrived. The final puzzle piece has fallen into place. The clock, long ticking since the days of the apostles, is no longer ticking toward an event. It is ticking into the event. The last days are no longer coming, they are here. Look to Israel, always to Israel, for it is the timepiece of prophecy. The land, the people, the city of Jerusalem. What happens there in the physical ripples through the heavens in the spiritual. And what has just occurred in the land shakes the earth to its core. The Temple Mount, the covenant of many, the rise of a false peace, the global alignment of kings and kingdoms. Just as the prophet Ezekiel declared, it is all aligning, not tomorrow, now. And look to the nations. Look how they rage, the lawlessness, the confusion, the wars and rumors of wars. The hearts of men growing cold, the love of many waxing faint. As it was in the days of Noah, so it is now. As it was in the days of Lot, so it is again. They celebrate what is unholy, they mock what is sacred. And the restrainer is lifting, the veil is thinning, the line between heaven and earth fading. And the heavens, oh, the heavens speak. The moon turns red, the sun darkens, the stars fall. Signs in the skies, just as foretold, and most dismiss it as they did before the flood. But you, watchmen on the wall, you must not sleep, for the last trumpet is close, so close. The shout of the archangel is ready. The voice of the bridegroom is at the door, and the bride must make herself ready. The convergence is complete. The gospel has gone to the ends of the earth. The fig tree has blossomed. The abomination is prepared. The nations are gathered. The cup of iniquity overflows, and the Spirit whispers, come up here. We stand now, not at the beginning of the end, but at the end of the end. The final sign has appeared. The door is about to shut. The day of grace is closing. The age is folding like a scroll. And the king is coming not as the lamb, but as the lion. Not to be judged, but to judge. Not in weakness, but in glory. And the question is not when will he come? The question now is, are you ready? The convergence of prophetic signs has reached its final stage. This is not mere coincidence or sensationalism. It is the fulfillment of a divine pattern that has been unfolding across centuries. From the ancient scrolls of Daniel to the apocalyptic visions of Revelation, the signs were spoken of, written, and sealed until the appointed time. And now, in this generation, they have begun to converge, not sporadically, not randomly, but with focused precision. The nation of Israel, reborn in a day, stands as a living prophecy. The capital restored, the alliances shifting, the talk of rebuilding the temple, each movement echoing Scripture. The rise of lawlessness, the breakdown of morality, the shaking of economies, the unification of global systems, and the growing cry for peace and safety, all these were foretold. And they are no longer isolated incidents, but interconnected threads forming a prophetic tapestry. The earth groans with earthquakes in diverse places. The seas roar with turmoil. Pestilences cross borders. And the hearts of many grow cold. Technology has reached the level where the mark, the image, and the beast can all be realized. And mankind is willingly opening the door to its own surveillance and control. The global stage is being set for a leader who promises answers, unity, and power, but he will come with deception. Apostasy has crept into the church. Many pulpits no longer preach repentance. The cross is replaced with comfort. The blood is exchanged for blessings. Holiness has become optional. To walk in the fear of the Lord, the garments must be clean. The oil must be full. The altar must be burning. For in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, everything will change. The systems of man will collapse. The masks of culture will fall. The illusion of control will vanish. And only those whose names are written in the Lamb's book of life will be caught up to meet him in the air. The rapture is not a myth, not a doctrine of man, but a mystery revealed by God, a promise to the bride, a deliverance from the wrath to come. And the clock is not turning backward. Every second that passes brings us closer. Every fulfilled prophecy removes another excuse. Every global tremor is a shout from the throne. Prepare the way. They do not hear the cries from the watchmen. They mock the ark builders. They ridicule the messengers. But just as the flood came suddenly, just as fire and brimstone fell without warning, the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night. The spiritual landscape has been defiled. Churches have grown lukewarm. Preachers have compromised. And congregations seek comfort instead of conviction. The Spirit grieves as the holy is blended with the profane. The altar is empty, but the stage is full. The days of Noah are not only echoed in the world, they are reflected in the modern church. The spiritual rot is not just external, it has crept into the sacred. And yet, in the midst of this darkness, the same voice that called Noah, the warnings have been spoken. The trumpet is almost at the lips of the angel, and the clock has no more space between the ticks. We are not waiting for another sign. We are living in the moment the prophets saw in visions and cried out for generations to understand. This is the final stage, the hour of convergence, the moment when the spiritual realm prepares for the greatest transition in human history. All that remains is the shout, the trumpet, and the breaking open of the heavens to reveal the King coming for his bride. The virgins in the parable all knew the bridegroom was coming, but only half were ready when he came. The others were too late, caught in a moment they thought would never come so soon. This is not a time to build bigger barns or chase earthly crowns. This is the time to set our hearts on the kingdom that cannot be shaken. The world is shaking, but the remnant must not. The nations rage, but the people of God must remain anchored. The cry to come out from among them is louder than ever, to be set apart, to be holy. The urgency is not meant to create fear, but to awaken love, devotion, holiness, and obedience. To live as if today were the day, because one day it will be. The call is personal, and no one else can make the decision for another. It does not depend on religion or ritual, but on relationship. The door of the ark is still open, but it is closing fast. The bridegroom is delayed no longer. The clouds are gathering. The crown is ready, and the final moment before the trumpet blast is now hanging in the balance. Every believer must examine their heart, their walk, their priorities, and be found watching, praying, expecting, and living as one who belongs not to this world, but to the kingdom that is about to be revealed. The sanctity of life is mocked, gender and creation are redefined, and truth has become offensive. Good is called evil, and evil is celebrated as good. The foundations are being dismantled brick by brick, and with each crumble, society applauds louder. Like in Noah's day, the warnings are ignored. Like in Lot's day, righteousness is oppressed and silenced. The prophetic words of Yeshua echo through this age. As it was then, so it will be again. People move about in a daze of routine, distracted by entertainment, consumed with self, and indifferent to the signs that surround them. They do not discern the urgency of the hour. The same angels that warned Lot are sounding the alarm once again. The warning is clear. The comparison is not symbolic, it is literal. Humanity has returned to the sins that once triggered the judgment of God. The restraining hand is being lifted. The cup of wrath is filling. The day is fast approaching. The ark is ready, but the door will not remain open forever. Just as Noah found grace and Lot was rescued by the mercy of angels, there is still a way of escape, but it requires eyes to see and hearts to heed. It requires a turning, a separating, a fleeing from the cities of sin and the cultures of corruption. The parallels are complete, and the season is upon us. The church that once turned the world upside down now conforms to the world's pattern. And yet the remnant watches. The watchers remain awake because they see it. The alignment. The fig tree has blossomed. Jerusalem has become a burdensome stone. The nations gather at the borders, and the winds of war begin to stir. The signs are not hidden. They are declared from the rooftops. Even nature testifies. The sky gives signals. The moon turns. The sun darkens, and the stars move in patterns known from ancient prophecy. From celestial events to geopolitical upheaval, from spiritual decay to rising persecution, the picture is complete. The convergence is undeniable. Every major prophecy that had to occur before the rapture has now either been fulfilled or is in motion. The delay is not in heaven's plan, but in heaven's mercy. What was once far off is now present. What was once a mystery is now revealed. The call to readiness is now urgent as the rapture draws imminent. The trumpet has not yet sounded, but the atmosphere is charged with its echo. There is a stirring in the spirit, a trembling in the heavens, a silence that speaks louder than thunder. The warnings have been sent, the signs revealed, the scriptures opened before the eyes of this generation, and yet so many remain asleep, lulled into complacency by the noise of the world and the false comfort of delay. The call is not just to believe, it is to prepare. The call to readiness is now urgent as the rapture draws imminent. The trumpet has not yet sounded, but the atmosphere is charged with its echo. There is a stirring in the spirit, a trembling in the heavens, a silence that speaks louder than thunder. The warnings have been sent, the signs revealed, the scriptures opened before the eyes of this generation, and yet so many remain asleep, lulled into complacency by the noise of the world and the false comfort of delay. The call is not just to believe, it is to prepare. It is to live as those who are about to be called away, who stand with their lamps full, wicks trimmed, and hearts watching the eastern sky. It is not enough to know prophecy, to quote the signs, or to discuss the end times with intrigue. Readiness is not intellectual, it is spiritual. It is not passive, it is active. Global events and spiritual decay mirror the days of Noah and Lot. These were not ordinary times in history. They were defining moments, thresholds of divine judgment that came after long-suffering mercy. In the days of Noah, humanity was marked by corruption, violence, and the rejection of God's ways. They ate, they drank, they married, and they lived as if nothing would ever change, all while the ark was being built before their eyes. In the days of Lot, the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah flourished in perversion, pride, and lawlessness, mocking righteousness and scorning any notion of judgment. And now, in this present hour, the world reflects the same patterns. There is an eruption of lawlessness in the streets and in the hearts of men. Morality is no longer absolute, but fluid, twisted by culture and pleasure. My friends, brothers and sisters, hear this now, not tomorrow, not next week, now. Something has happened, something ancient, something foretold. A sign has appeared, the final sign before the great catching away, the rapture of the saints. And it did not come with trumpets blaring or news headlines flashing in neon. No. It came as they always do, quietly to the world, but thunderously to the Spirit.